we were firing a cannon from a really high mountain. The cannonball will arc, and then gravity will pull it back down to Earth. As you increase the power, the cannonball will arc and land further and further away. Eventually, you could continue to increase the power, and the cannonball will go so fast that it ends up in free fall around the Earth. Gravity's still pulling on it, but it's going so fast that it never hits the ground. This arc that constantly misses the Earth is what we call an orbit. So when we get to liftoff today, keep an eye out on the orientation of Falcon 9. You'll see it initially start to go straight up until about T plus 10 seconds, at which point we'll start to shift orientation so Falcon 9 can start picking up sideways velocity. But before we get to that, why don't we check in on the status of the vehicle for today's launch?
We are currently just under T-minus 5 minutes and 30 seconds from liftoff, and Falcon 9 is now moving into the final stages of the countdown. We are currently waiting for the transporter erector, or TE, to retract, and that's that truss structure right next to the vehicle. First, the TE clamps will open, and the transporter erector will then begin to retract away from the rocket slightly, and at T0, hydraulics will pull the TE farther away from Falcon 9 as it lifts off. Now, the TE provides liquids, gases, electrical connections to the second stage, as well as air conditioning to the payload fairing.
Tanks pressing for strong back retract.
Now, those clamp arms that you can see just below the fairing should start to open soon, and strong back retraction should happen in just a few seconds here.
Strong back lever started.
You heard strong back has started to retract. You can see those clamp arms opening around the Falcon's second stage there. You can see that strong back TE is started to move away from the vehicle there. Now, the first and second stages are both nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. Superchilled liquid oxygen is our propellant oxidizer, and that is what you see creating those white clouds that you can see around Falcon 9 there. And that's because the warm, humid ambient air causes the liquid oxygen to turn into a gas around the booster. Now, first stage should finish prop loading at T-minus 3 minutes, just under 10 seconds here. And the second stage will finish prop loading about a minute after that at T-minus 2 minutes.
Poco bleed.
At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9...
Lock slow, close out.
Falcon 9 will be in startup, and you heard that call out for stage 1 LOX load complete. And when Falcon 9 gets in startup at T-minus 60 seconds, this means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken control of the launch countdown. And just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, we light the Merlin 1D engines using that T-type ignition source we talked about, and we're set to lift off. The Starlink payload continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues on the rocket. Weather is still looking favorable, and the range is green for launch. So here at just over T-minus 2 minutes, let's listen in on the terminal countdown.
Stage 2, lock slow, close out.
We have just finished loading our second stage. Our Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with over 1 million pounds of kerosene, RP1, and liquid oxygen. Again, that white cloud coming from the booster there towards the middle is normal and expected. That is venting from the TE LOX line. Again, at T-1 minute, Falcon 9 will go into startup, and this is when stage 1 and stage 2 will begin pressurizing for launch, and the flight computer will have taken control of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup, and in just a few seconds, the launch director should give the final go for launch.
Stage 2, pressing for flight.
Falcon 9, Starlink LDs go for launch.
You heard that call out for go for launch. All systems are go.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Let's listen in to the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 takes our Starlink satellites to orbit.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Stage 1, pressing for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1, propulsion nominal.
What a beautiful day for a rocket launch here. As you can see, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying our stack of 60 Starlink satellites to orbit. For a rocket launch Moments here. ago, As you we can see, throttled the engines down in preparation for max Q, or the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the rocket will carrying our stack of 60 Starlink satellites. Vehicle is supersonic, and we should be passing through max Q here in just a few seconds.
Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
We just passed through max Q, and in about a minute, we will have 3 events happening back to back, and that's main engine cutoff, or MECO, stage separation, and second engine start 1. So first, main engine cutoff. That is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines that you can see burning right now will shut off to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. And this is where the first stage separates from the second
Again, the
stage.
chill has begun.
With the first stage making its way back to land on our drone ship, just read the instructions, while second stage continues on its journey to its third event, which is second engine startup 1. Now this is where the 1 MVAC engine on our second stage lights up and propels that second stage along with our Starlink satellites to orbit. What a beautiful view of those 9 M1D engines burning there on beautiful clear day. And we're coming up on main engine cutoff shortly here in just about 10 seconds.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
And recognition.
You can see in that beautiful footage that we did just have MECO, stage separation, and second engine startup 1. Those grid fins are coming out on the first stage there on the left. And in just a few seconds, we should have